From the Hanging with Web Show TV's Bargain Basement Studio in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, it's Pillow Talk with Willow Schuyler.
Will you take me to Winnipeg?
I will, someday. Toronto, Montreal, Quebec, Winnipeg.
Now what's this guy doing up here in Manitoba?
He was holding the map up.
Every salvage mission that's been through this system has disappeared. Even those old pirates out at Winnipeg Drift say it's cursed.
Cursed? Winnipeg's got a great ballet. You have a good time, I swear to God.
Sweet guinea pig of Winnipeg! They've taken over our company!
Balderdash! I never agreed to that!
I should have stayed in Winnipeg, you know? I had a nice gallery, 3 paintings in the wall.
Are you kidding? And you look back. Born home, Quebec. Drafted out of the juniors in the 5th round to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Played for a year with the Leafs, then traded to the Winnipeg Jets, then to Calgary, then to Boston.
Wow.
So Winnipeg must get pretty cold up there.
That's it! Back to Winnipeg!
Hey peeps, it's Willow Schuyler here for Willow's Pillow Talk. Yes, Carl, I will take you to Winnipeg. You'll just have to drive here. But yes, the show that proves that pop culture ends and begins in Winnipeg. I am with Ted Davies of Ted Davies Artistry. Wow, I cannot speak today. Welcome. So you have a book coming out soon called Grimm. Yep. That's why we're here. I'm looking forward to reading this, by the way. Cool. Tell me all about it.
Okay. Well, Grimm, it's Grimm 101, but Grimm is it's a set. Basically, what it is I had an idea when I was a kid about. My mom was the youngest 15 kids. It was a rural family, farm family, and her mother was, there was a huge age difference between the first sibling and my mother and her. So there was always like a death in the family when I was growing up. So I always was around cemeteries or funeral homes or whatever. And some of these people I didn't even know because it was, they were just the age group. Some aunts and uncles I didn't know. They were just so much older than my mother. I had no idea. Some of them who they even were. So I just got to the point where we were going to these cemeteries and I was feeling guilt, like grief, and I didn't know why, or I was feeling anxiety. You go to a cemetery, you know what I mean? You feel that feeling and you don't know what, and I didn't even know some of these people. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? I remember at like 12 years old, I'm like, well, what if it's not me? What if it's somebody else's job to make me feel like this in this cemetery? Maybe it's, and I made a mental note of that when I was a kid. And I said, okay, maybe something, maybe it's a specter, or maybe it's a Grim Reaper or something. And I just made a mental note of it and then I didn't think about it. And I've always been interested in the roadside cemeteries and that are forgotten about. They're overgrown and people, it's just like they have this huge bustling area and everything. And all these people that you grow up or that had lives, and then there's nobody that visits those cemeteries anymore. That always intrigued me. So, so later on in life, I said, well, what if the guy or the girl or whatever that's making you feel like this, what if they hate their job? And what if they're not very good at their job? And maybe people actually like going to the cemetery, maybe that would be really kind of funny. So that's how Grimm 101 came about. It's about a guy named Jim, who's a Grimm. He doesn't know how he got there. And he's got somewhat of an amnesia, and he's there for a couple hundred years. And
oh wow,
he's basically, it's a memoir based about his experiences and how he ends up finding a very interesting. Nobody can ever see or hear him. And then there's a small cottage next door to the cemetery that's been there for a long time, and he notices that there's a woman that has moved in, and this woman. Through means of her own, she's kind of a kitchen witch, kind of a Pinterest witch. She ends up seeing him, and this is where the comedy ensues. So she thinks that she ended up bringing him, basically calling him forth, from, and that's not what happened. He's been there for a long time, and it's, basically it's a comedy, but it's a dark comedy, romantic comedy. So, but it's his.
That's great. Though.
It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I know that you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know that you'll enjoy it. So there's going to be 4 books in the series, and each of the books is going to have. It's going to have, the first book is going to be Jim's perspective. The second book will be Gwen, his interest, I guess, if you want to call it that. Gwendolyn's perspective. And then the third and fourth book will be more about the story that develops in the comedy that ensues, and ultimately his origins of how he got there and what happened. So that's where it's going to go. But the first book is we're going to be kickstarting that Sunday, the 25th. So coming up.
And I was gonna have you. I was hoping to have you on that day, but we decided to choose tonight. It's okay. No.
It's good. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Anytime. Any time with you is great. So
thank you. So when coming up with the characters for your book, did you already have the names in mind, or did they come as you were writing?
That's a good question. I had a real hard time with even the title, because I didn't. The first thing, the title was, you read these things about Grims and cemeteries, or you read about graveyard caretakers and things like that. You read all kinds of history on things, when as you go through the internet, you go down rabbit holes all the time. And it's the name of the book was harder, I think, because the Grim 101 is actually the manual, the book that Jim finds in the cemetery. And he reads this thing. It's kind of like a work manual, and it's just there. It's the only thing that he can basically, it's not his own property, but it's the only thing he's got to go by. He has no idea why he's even there. So this book is kind of like his, a cruel guide is what he calls it, because it's basically a book of despair, of how to make people feel terrible in a cemetery when they come to visit their deceased. And so Jim, I'm not going to give it away, but there's a reason why Jim is named that way. And he finds a slip of paper in his jacket, in his leather jacket, and it says Jim on it. And that's what he's going by. Gwendolyn, the woman that is in the cottage next door, actually my aunt was named Gwen, and she passed away when I was just becoming a teenager. So, and she was a school teacher, and she was just a remarkable woman. And I wanted to make sure I embodied her some way, in memory of her. So she was fantastic. So, but yeah, that was pretty easy. And then the other ones, I'm not going to tell you the other names yet, because you're going to be like, "Oh, dude, that's crazy." Because you
don't want to give away too much.
Don't want to give away all of it, but that's a good question. It's a real good question.
Have you always been into ghosts and the spiritual world? Yeah,
absolutely. I think that I had aunts that during the Depression, they actually helped the FBI find murdered children. So there's always been kind of a thing, you know what I mean, in our family. Yeah. Everybody's got a certain intuition. Everyone. I don't care what you say about it. Everybody's got it. You have it. I have it. It's our gut. You go with it. And so ghosts and specters and whatever have always been, intriguing to me. And that's it. I mean, that's, I always try to look for the supernatural, even in the, basics of life. Right. But yeah, I've always been interested in that. Creepy, cool, that's my thing. But
hey, Ryan, good to see you.
Hey, Ryan.
This man is obsessed with Funkos. Oh, do you have any?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I got a ton of them. You can see I got a ton of them back there. I got Hellboy is my thing. So I got tons of Hellboy, Abe Sapien, a couple of original R2D2 from 1977. Wow. I got all kinds of stuff. I got but Funkos, they're like huge here. We got a ton of them. I just got one for Chris. I've got she's got this fascination with Maleficent. Oh man. So we got this one we ordered from one of my buddies. I'll give a shout out to Paul King at Fetz Toys in Saginaw, Michigan. and he ordered this one. It's freaking awesome. It's got wings on it, and it's got the raven, whatever the raven's name is. Forgot it in the name of the movie, but yeah, that's freaking awesome. But my wife's got that. But yeah, we love them. I mean, they're creative. They're fun. If you got extra money to spend on it, that's cool. If you don't,
I'm going to try to stick with the 2 that I have right now.
Got it.
The Elvira ones.
Oh yeah. Sure. I mean, they're fun. I like getting the Hellboy ones because they're so unique, and they're just.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go. I know that once one of my other books, once it gets finished up, what I told you about that, but once it gets finished up with the other stuff with what they're doing, I'm going to get one of the characters in a Funko.
Oh, that
format.
would be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing something like that. So might take a little bit, but I'm looking forward to it.
So going back to Grimm 101, did you you did the artwork for the cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have you just do the stories come as you're drawing, or or do you prefer to write first and then draw the pictures?
I think and that's again, good question. I usually write. I think I've told this. I probably sound like a broken record. I usually write in this type of book. I'll usually find some of these, whether at Ollie's or wherever, Walmart, any of the journals that you can get, for a few bucks. And then I write down, I just jot down ideas. And as I'm doing it, I sketch. So for me, I remember a lot more of the story by my drawings. So it's a really weird way of doing it, but I'll end up drawing a picture and then I know the story. And then I'll go back and I'll usually sketch out something in the margins, and then I'll just kind of see if that works. And then I'm like, you know what? Okay, so he's got this characteristic, this, he can't do this, he can do this, and that kind of and breakdown. And then I'll go through and I'll start sketching out. I like watercolor medium, as you know that. I think you know that.
Yeah.
It's because it's ethereal. It's a one-shot deal. You put watercolor down, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, and I really like that aspect of it. And that's what I did with Grimm. I think that, or Grimm 101. If you go into, when you guys check out the preview on Kickstarter, I've got a ton of different art in there. That's the actual, on the video, you could see the water colored work that I've done. And it's work in progress. There's a few things. It's a real experimental thing too.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun.
You did the animation on that video?
I didn't. Jeffrey Hayes did, actually.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to, I'm a firm believer that you should take people with you. If you're going to be successful, you need to bring people around you that can do things you can't. I think that's important to delegate if you can afford to do it. Because I've done, I can write, I can draw, I can do all that, but I wanted to I can't manage it. Lisa's, Lisa Malone does that. That's what her forte is. That's what she's good at. Why not bring her in? I appreciate her. I'd rather Jeffrey, that's all he does. He's doing this editing, and so he put the artwork, I've got a good friend, Chris Freeman, with his band is Moses the Black, and they do a tremendous.
Speak of the devil and she shall appear.
That's right. Up, Lisa. You guys get on her Facebook page. If you guys have any Kickstarters or any management things that you're going to have with your business, get with her because she's awesome. She already knows. I'm preaching the choir, but back to Chris Freeman. He he does these beautiful melodies. He and his band, and they're just incredible. And what I'll do is I'll put that music on, and while I'm drawing, and that helps me get into that zone. So the music that you hear in the video is from Chris's band, Chris Freeman's band. And that actually is very ethereal. It fits exactly. But again, I bring in all these people. Then I've got a voiceover, Glenn B. Fleming did the voiceover.
Okay,
and he did. So I wanted to make sure I bring in everybody that was, I have a very close-knit group, but it's a stellar group. I don't think I could do any better. So, but I delegate, I let people do what they're good at, even though they don't even know they're good at it. Some of them, I mean, Glenn's like, I hate my voice. I'm like, I don't. Start recording. So he did, and he went through 10 different takes, and it finally took, and we got it. But so I think that there's all different kinds of things you can do, but I think you need to bring in, if you can bring people in you need to share the wealth a bit too.
Yeah.
If you can help people out and it's you know that. I've been preaching this for a year, well, actually all my life, but you got to start bringing awareness about other people's talents, and it's not just it's not just a stage for me. You know what I mean?
That's why I enjoy hanging around with you guys. Like, even though we haven't met in person, like the fact that we are such a tight knit group.
Oh yeah,
already online.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. If one thing came out of COVID, it's that. I'm so proud of that.
Yeah.
So awesome.
I'm so happy to have the friendships that I I found in the last year, because I think I probably would have went stir crazy through that this whole time.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I agree with that.
But I mean, like, I'm all about making like taking something positive out of a negative experience. So this is my positive experience.
how many people have grown? We were talking about that. I mean, God, you and I. I mean, the things that we've been able to do for other people, not only other people but ourselves in return. Fantastic.
And it's so great to meet other people who have the same, who live on the same brainwave as you, because the thing that sucks is, so many of us can go the negative route and obsess over the news and let that drag us down. And so many people have allowed it to intervene in their brains. And to me, it's like, no, I'm going to make the best of this, and I'm going to do what I'm good at. Network.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you did it. You're doing it. So congratulations. You've done it. And it's a decision. It's simple. If I don't do this, I'm going to be so much into my head. I'm going to drive myself nuts. I'm going to, I want to, if I can direct that energy helping somebody else, it's a win-win.
Exactly.
Win-win.
And because I'm so it's so easy to go into depression and let your anxiety control you. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to allow my anxiety to get the best of me this time.
And and it's easy we all have those days. I have days I don't want to get out of bed. I'm like, absolutely. It's like, come on. And then I'm like, okay, so I always say, give me something good. I tell Chris or the kids or whatever, tell me something good, anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you had a good lunch, whatever it was. And, my kids, they're adults, they're in their mid-20s, and they're, out and living their lives. But there's always something that they give me positive, something, and that you've got to do that. You have to. Yeah. You have to. And I'm not saying you can't have bad days. We're allowed to do that too. But yeah, I'm with you.
I try with my friend today, I wanted to make a positive post about mental health, because so many of us in the nerd community,
the creatives,
the creatives, it's like we all, I suffer from anxiety. Many of us many of us, I've seen the posts where people get so caught up in what's going on, and it's like, no, you are not alone. Your brain is lying to you. You have to, you have to tell yourself you are loved.
And sometimes it's hard because a lot of people don't have the support structure in their families. I always had a good support structure, but they didn't necessarily understand growing up. I think my mother, she was probably depressed, even though she was fantastic. But there was always, always be that thing that she would say, man, I wish something good would happen today. And and looking back on that, I'm like, wow, that must have been really hard for her, in the situations that she was in her life. And I look back on that now that she's been gone about 30 years, and it's been kind of like, man, I said, that must have been really tough that she went through that, and why she acted that way later in life, So, but yeah, I think that everybody has a choice, though. Chemically, sometimes we don't. Chemically, anxiety and, melatonin, everything, serotonin, and all that, it has a lot to do with it. Vitamin D helped me big time. Magnesium helps me big time. Coffee helps me.
Coffee helps.
And I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm just telling you what helps me. So, but vitamin D is definitely something that helps for me.
Absolutely. I like this comment. I wonder which comes first, the creativity or the anxiety. I honestly, I feel like that I thrive through my anxiety with creativity.
Yes.
It's a great distraction.
Yep. Well, and I think that, for those, I don't talk about God very much because I'm, everybody knows I'm pretty much a Taoist. I don't prescribe to certain dogmas and that, but I think God's got a good sense of humor. She has a good sense of humor because, she gives these creatives these fantastic abilities, these sometimes superhero abilities. But you know what? We're just going to throw a little bit on the edge there. So you're going to have to deal with the anxiety too, right? And that's, I don't know. I think that's what we have to learn to live with. And we have to help. I think we have to help each other through it. Does that make
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe that's why we got it. Maybe that's why we got it. I don't
know. But no, I think having the network we do actually does help too, because that way we're not always stuck thinking that we have nobody with us.
Absolutely.
And it helps to know that there are other people who deal with the same thing, who are going through the same thing.
Yeah. And it's worldwide. It's not just here. It's not in Canada. It's not in America. It's everywhere. We all have it. So in one way, shape, or form. But
Van Gogh, yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of things, when I was in college, in art school, I had this really great professor. His name was Professor Dufour. And he taught us about the human side of the artist. So Van Gogh, Picasso, Monet, all these people, some of them I really didn't like. I really didn't like them as human beings. I liked their art. That was beautiful. But, Van Gogh, there's been, if you've ever seen any of his paintbrushes, they had bite marks on them. He would actually chew on his paint.
Huh.
And I mean, a lot of that, they think that lead poisoning gave him the ability to see the colors that he did, but it also gave him a certain amount of madness,
Yeah.
So, cutting off your ear or whatever, I mean, and then anyway, I won't get into all of it. You can read a book about it, but that's very true though. I think that, I think that we have to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And whether we're well-known artists or not, I think that, to say that we've got a lot in common is very true.
And I'm inspired by you guys every day too. And I joke around with John, because John Pica, every now and then he'll throw in someone who's like, okay, you're going to interview this person. And it's like, you really want to see me turning into a fangirl, don't you?
That's cool. That's cool. Well, good though. I mean, you're being, you're being put on the spot, but that's great. You're stretching, right? That's good. Yeah. You're growing. It's awesome. That's awesome. Good on him.
I mean, like, around you guys, I'm a fangirl regardless.
No, you're too kind. Well, we're all fans of you too. I mean, Brian and I, we've talked to Carl and I talk about you too. And Christine and I were, I meant what I said yesterday on my show, because we really do. We think the world of you. So I know we haven't met. I know all of us haven't met yet, and we haven't had a drink or anything. But once things get settled down, either we get to Canada or you come to the States, it'll be a good time. We'll have a good time.
I appreciate your comments, and you guys are like, every time I listen to your guys' shows, like after the fact, and I'm just like, oh.
Well, you're always sharing our stuff. You don't have to do that, and I appreciate it so much. You have a reach for the things that you're doing that that we don't have. We've got, and we appreciate so much. We do. I appreciate it on a personal level. Christine and I appreciate it greatly. And, that we're always going to share out your stuff and support you 100%. So
for me, I like a full schedule.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
If I'm just sharing the stuff from hanging with Webb, it just looks like it's like the day's empty. It's like one show, two shows, maybe. Tuesday's really busy for us. And then it's like, there's like nothing happening the rest of the week. We appreciate it. So I go searching.
Make the docket. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, listen. I won't show everybody. I mean, this is like one of the calendars. I've got calendars everywhere, and this is, I full schedules all the time. It's got to be, or it doesn't get done. Yeah.
My province has a bunch of podcasters, and they try to hold monthly meetings, and for some reason Facebook is really bad at reminding me that these meetings are happening until it's like, oh, by the way, this happened. It's like,
get a reminder and like 8 minutes after it's done. Yeah, love that. Have you guys been having problems with Facebook too, like we have lately, or no?
I'm hoping I'm getting all the comments. It seems like I'm getting some comments. So like, you know, we got Lisa Malone promoting her stuff, and
right.
And
that's good, because I know it's just been on the personal pages. Usually it's on the business page it's fine, but
around this time when I first started doing the podcasting, I think it was like a month or two after, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and use my personal page for this, so that I'm not cluttering up my own.
Understand that? Yep.
My own page, but no, I think it's a good move for you guys to just broadcast on the Rising Tide page.
I think so too, and that's I'm going to move mine over there too. I think maybe we'll do that tomorrow, because I think if they're having, because I'm already sharing there anyway. You know, so
you guys have your artist pages that you use as well. So and. I mean, I completely understand that, completely wanting to use your own, your artist pages and your group page for that.
Yep. So, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it works. I mean, I know eventually everything will go to YouTube, but to be honest with you, I have more reach with Facebook, because not everybody's got a YouTube channel or that to view my stuff. If they go to Facebook, you know, I'll get 1,000 views on certain things, and I only get maybe 20 on YouTube. That's fine. No problem. But you know, I gotta go where the views are, right? So if it's easier for people to use it, absolutely. You know,
and you know, it's funny that we're how we share each other's stuff as well. One of the podcasters that I follow on YouTube, she's like, she actually put out a post saying that I want to help support you guys and promote your stuff, and it's like, this woman gets like thousands of views for everything she posts. Awesome. And just to have someone like that, Elbat is her name, just to have someone like that.
I follow her. Yeah, I do. It's funny. I do. I follow her. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, and that's all you need. Somebody in your corner like that.
Yeah.
Easy stuff. It's awesome. And all she's doing the same thing we're doing. She just has more followers, more of a reach. That's cool. You know, that's awesome.
I mean, like there has been times where I was like, okay, I would love to, you know, try a new product and see how that goes for a week, but I'm really bad for reviewing stuff.
Got it. You know, I'll tell you what, the watch thing, TED Talks Timepieces, is actually, not everybody gets it, but I get more reviews. I get more hits off of those things than it's crazy. I've gotten all over the world with a review on a watch. It's crazy. And something, you know, that I've been striving for, trying to do a book or whatever, I get coverage, but not like this. And it's actually nice, because it's a segue. It's completely different than what I normally do, right? So don't knock it till you try it. You might find something that, you know, you might really be into that works for people. And hey, you know what? I trust her. I'm gonna see what she's doing.
Yeah,
and that's how it works. So just be authentic. You know, just be, you know. That's
I reviewed this like Maybelline lipstick a couple of years ago, and I didn't. It lasts all day. Yes, it's great, but it for a first little bit there, when you just put it on, it left my lips feeling gross, like like sticky.
You guys have it rough. Women have it so rough.
I don't like being. I don't like the feeling of being sticky, and I was like, why is lipstick sticky?
Right. Well, and there's, you know, that's one thing that, you know, guys, it's just pretty much, you know, shave or don't shave or whatever. You know, it's easy. You guys have to dial yourselves up or whatever. For whatever reason, they think that that's the, you know. I told Christine, don't worry about it. She's like, whatever. She says, if I feel like doing it, I will. But if not, you know, That's cool.
It sounds weird, but my husband will not kiss me when I'm wearing lipstick because he doesn't like the taste of it.
I get that totally.
It's
you know,
waxy,
my mom would wear
gross.
lipstick, and she would. I would always have like a can of Coca-Cola or something because I used to drink pop a lot.
Yeah.
And God damn it, she would always drink it and leave that stupid waxy filmy.
Yeah.
Ugh, I used to hate that. So yeah, I get it. Totally understand that. So, but yeah, yeah, you guys have it rough. I don't. Yeah.
But no, I'm trying to get more out of my shell when it comes to reviewing stuff because that's pretty much where it's at now.
Yeah, and if you have
stuff.
Yeah, right. And if you have an Amazon affiliate page and you get paid for the things that you're selling off of that, then there's a lot of money to be made there. Not, it's a major, it has to be repeat purchasing, but there's a lot of money to be made and it's just sitting there. And you're already living with things that you could probably review, So absolutely.
But yeah, speaking of your reviews on watches, how many watches do you own? Like, I'm sure you have
I've got about, let's see, 30, I think. So they're all different ones. I got a new one. I'm going to be doing the show tomorrow. Christine bought me for my birthday, but that one's that was kind of an exception. I've been waiting for this watch to come out. It finally came out. So that you have to watch that tomorrow at 10 o'clock. But yeah,
absolutely.
About 30. I'm gonna probably. I've got rid of one because of the display was terrible a couple weeks ago. I'm giving that to my son because I can't see it. It's one of these negative displays and it's really hard to look at. But
okay.
But yeah. I mean, it's mainly I do it just for me. We had a time slot, and I said, you know what? Sometimes people need to know something about watches, so I'm just gonna throw it in there. It's only a 20-minute video here and there, and it's not my main thing. It's just something that I enjoy. So just a little bit of a hobby for me. But
yeah.
Variety show.
I like this. I find out how she cooks. I cook very well. You can ask my husband. Yep. Although half the time cooking is just like chopping up stuff and putting it in the oven. Prepping, so there's nothing really to it. But I do bake.
Yeah, that's good. Chris does most of our stuff. I don't. I want us to survive, so I don't want to. I could cook. I could. But she does most of it. I'm with. And she's an artist. She really is. I don't know how. That's a whole nother art form, baking. Whole nother art form.
I can bake, but decorating cakes is not my thing.
That's cool. That's cool.
You and your wife got into mixing drinks on Fridays, which is really cool. Like I'm learning so much, and it's a White Russian drink. It sounds like a cool idea.
It was a good one. It was a good one. That one was really good. We enjoyed that one. That was a little bit too much, but yeah, it was good. We enjoyed that. I
did not know that you can't drink milk.
It's a gluten thing. It's a real weird. Yeah, I got about 4 years. Well, we moved up here. And I started feeling like really weird. My joints were hurting and I just wasn't feeling right. So I thought maybe it was the well because we've got well water here or whatever.
Yeah.
And we thought maybe the well was bad or something happened to it. And anyway, I went in for blood work and my cholesterol was like all over, but like squirrely. Things were just all over the place. And so the doctor's like, oh, we got to put you on a statin. And I'm like, I'm 46. I'm not going on any statins. You're out of your mind. The guy said to me straight up, he said, and pulled Christine in the room. He says, of course, I'm going to tell you that because I get a kickback from the pharmaceutical. I'm like, what? You just said that to me? Chris couldn't believe it. We both looked at each other.
I'm surprised like, okay. He was honest about that.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, I don't think he's in business anymore, actually. I think they shut him. Anyway, he's not here anyway. Yeah, so Chris said, okay, we're going to do an elimination diet. We're going to find out what's wrong. Because obviously you're allergic to something. So we went through and eliminated everything. Seafood, dairy, gluten. We figured out that it was wheat. Wheat was the thing. So some glutens I can have, but the wheat, it just killed me. I lost 35 pounds within let's say 2 months. I stopped drinking beer, anything like that. Got rid of this one was tough. We got rid of pork, so no bacon. That was tough. That was tough. Seafood was tough, especially living here. Like the fish I can have, but yeah. And we did away with red meat, no cheese for like a year. Oh my God, that was so tough. But then I started introducing things back in my diet. I haven't had any of the same problems, but no gluten. So the problem with that, with the White Russian, that some of the mixes, if you get the Kahlua mixes, they have like White Russian, or some of the vodkas have grain in them.
Okay.
And it only affected me a little bit, but you got to be really careful. Some of these, because it's like a peanut allergy. You have some people that peanut dust can set them off and put them in the hospital, and other of us, no problem, peanut butter or whatever. But
and this whole time I thought vodka was made out of potatoes.
It is. Some of it is. Some of it is potatoes, and then some. So the Smirnoff that we used was made out of potatoes. That's why I didn't have a problem with it. But some other ones aren't. So it's a really weird thing. And once you go off of gluten, let me tell you, it's painful. It's not necessarily an upset stomach. It's just you're in pain. It's agonizing. It's terrible.
Really?
So yeah, and I'm telling you, you want to go out and have a burrito with a flour tortilla. I'm telling you, don't do it. Once you've gone gluten-free, don't do it, because you will die a very painful death for at least 8 hours.
Are you full-blown vegan, or
no? Okay. No. We do. I'll do probably one steak. We got a really good butcher here in town. One steak a month. Like that. We usually do, I would say, probably 3 days a week vegetarian.
Okay.
But it's that's just us though. We're weird. We're those kind of people. So but yeah, everything's fresh, and we try to make sure that's and that's the same thing with alcohol. We make sure that we're getting the best for the money that we can, and then we want to do it so people can enjoy it. We don't want to get like bombed out of our minds, before we get into the green room or whatever. We want to make sure that everybody's just got like one drink. Okay, start out the week, or and that's our weekend, I should say. Do it responsibly, celebrate responsibly, and have fun. And that's what we wanted to do. We really wanted to bring it back old drinks. And Chris is she's just awesome when it comes to creating stuff in the kitchen. So I said, well, why don't we take that? And she actually has a business, Wicked Weeds. You can check them out on Facebook as well. But she does all these different grub rub, all these different things for different meats and different, it's just incredible what she does, but they're all healthy. So I said, why don't we do that with alcohol? Why don't we find some way of making these whole drinks that are fun? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And then what's nice about it is you're talking about people growing. She's pretty much taken over the show. It's great, because I'm like, this is awesome, because I'm like watching her, and she's looking up, really crazy facts about the, the molasses in this and how it was made. And, it's just awesome to watch, because she's starting to bloom. Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. So, and I get to have a show with my wife. Now we can write off alcohol because we have a YouTube channel. So there's a balance to it.
Yeah. Does your wife join in on the cigar smoking as well?
No. She might. I mean, maybe once in a while. Beer. No, usually not. She's like, the ongoing joke is Ted going to smoke in the house today? That's the whole thing about, this month, is Ted going to smoke? Carl and I are always having that in the back of our minds, how we're going to market that. But yeah, it's not. She enjoys the fact that I've taken time to really look at a way to do it that is the healthiest way you could possibly do it. I don't smoke every day. Yeah. I'm very cautious about what I get. I don't just buy any cigars. It's not like I'm smoking cigarettes or anything like that. I'm very cautious about, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not just, and it's one cigar like every 2 or 3, maybe days, sometimes weeks. It just depends.
The research you and Carl have been doing with your cigar shows is fantastic, though.
Good, thank you. And we wanted it to be really relaxed. We want you to be able to be novice and not be uptight about going into a shop. And we got a lot of good feedback from the. We just did a show, Women in Cigars, and we talked about a couple, at least the ones that I've talked about, that are CEOs of different cigar plants, and the rolling and everything else that they do, and how it's not supposed to be derogatory. I can see the side of that where it could be phallic or whatever, but when it boils down to it, that's somebody's daughter, and that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's somebody's wife, but it's somebody's daughter, somebody's mom. You got to, and once you think like that, it kills it, right? But it shows you what they're doing in business, though. It's amazing, and that they enjoy the fermenting of the tobacco and all that. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's cool. It's cool to see that.
The thing that I love when I'm touring old houses here is there's a place that has they call it the cigar room. In this one place that I traveled that I went to, and you can actually smell in the air like the old tobacco smoke.
Yeah, was it like an old parlor that they shut the door? Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So things like that, just like I'm interested in learning history and that kind of stuff. Like when you're talking about your cigars and your drinks, and it ties into a certain decade.
Yeah, totally.
I love that.
I do too, and that's. I'm glad you do, because I think that antiques and everything else have been kind of like vintage stuff, retro stuff has always been kind of our thing, Chris and my thing. But I think that there's it's the experiences of it. You know what I mean? It's you know what? Yeah, we're not going to probably watch an 8mm silent film. But it's cool having the old Regal 8mm reel or whatever, and it's cool having these old glasses that we broke a couple of them while we're washing them. We're never going to get them replaced, but it's cool going to the Salvation Army and picking them up for pennies on the dollar. You know what I mean? It's fun. That's fun. That whole experience is worth it. And then you can show people, hey, you know what? And I'm not talking about There's a thing about some people like to live when America was great, that kind of stuff, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just the experience of that era where you've got the retro styling and the cars had fins on them, that whole movement, back after World War II and even prior to that. It's the full effect of it all. It's not just when America was a powerhouse, whatever. It's just fun. It's just fun to be a part of that, and the experiences of making a drink that might take you more than 45 minutes to make and then drink, and then just popping a cap and drinking it down. That it's the culture of it. Maybe that's
And I know you're into the steampunk world as well, which one of these days we'll have to do a steampunk show.
Yeah, that'll be blast. Yeah, I do a lot of steampunk art. Yep.
One of the things that I like doing, one of my friends, she's huge into the steampunk world, and one of the things that we love doing is looking up like old drinks from the Victorian era, and trying to recreate the experience of kind of bringing that forward.
That's awesome.
To her events.
And that's the same idea. And that's what Drinking Them with the Davies is about. That's I think that's an awesome thing. And that's it. You're educating people, because it had to start somewhere. I mean, and that's, I think it's great. It's a great way to.
One of the things that she found out was it's a drink called egg creams, and it's carbonated water, heavy cream, and a little bit of flavoring.
That's it.
Whether like raspberry or some kind of fruity topping, and cool. it's good. I like it.
We've been working on this limoncello thing for the last month. And Chris has got, we finally got it down, and it's all strained and everything, and we're putting it in this drink on Friday called the deleted post.
Yeah.
And it's because when you drink this mixture of pineapple and whatever else is in this thing, if you drink too many of them, you start posting things on Facebook. Is what the story goes. That's how the story goes, and that you have to go back and delete all these things because you sober up. And so it'll be interesting to see how my birthday goes on Friday from that. But I don't know. But the deleted post is what we're going to be doing. And that's a newer drink. That's one of the new ones that we kind of found that we thought would be funny, just to be different. But the limoncello, the preparing that, and that's a pretty, you know
what? Once the pandemic ends, I'm sure that you guys will take this little segment on the road with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, most likely. It's funny because we've got people that are already checked in with us that live on the road or on the coastline with us, and they're talking about stopping by at like 6 o'clock. So we're talking about maybe having this on the outside and have it and everybody here, and that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. That could be, we might have to have some people sign
You're going to have
releases.
to make your own little tiki bar.
Yeah. And then we talked about that too. Chris was like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, well, I thought maybe, then the architect and me, I'm figuring, okay, should we do this? Maybe not, because it's got to be out all year long. So, and I know we're going to do a hot tub eventually. That should be fun.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. I don't know if that'll ever hit the screen, but we'll see how that goes. So it'll be fun. But variety, that's the key that's what I really wanted about Ted Davies artistry. I wanted it so that it was fun. It's a lifestyle. It's not just me doing books or collecting books or collecting watches. It's about the full experience of the journey. That's why I don't like people getting boxed into certain things. There's okay to have a niche. I don't mean that, but that's not me. So
yeah. I'm looking forward to reading your books and seeing you. You've come so far in the last 6 months that we've known each other.
Yeah, I've been on air for about a little over a year. But yeah, we've been about 6 months, I think.
Yeah,
about 6 months. It's been crazy. It's been crazy busy. It's been crazy. This whole pandemic thing has been a real eye opener, but also just as far as followers and subscribers and content, it's been crazy. Just the explosion of everything that's come out of this. So in a good way. So,
and do you miss going to conventions or?
I do. How would I put it? I do to a certain extent. I like the control factor here of what we're doing. I like that. It's hard because you want to have the interactions. I love having interactions with people. I don't necessarily love the interactions with some people because some of them are just rude. You know what I mean? Or their kids they're not watching their kids. Things get broken. That I don't like. But that can be that can be dealt with. That's just Ted being being Ted. But I think that I like the fact that we're able to have some type of controlled environment. I miss the interaction. I miss doing live drawings. I miss having commissions come in on a Sunday. My whole days on Sundays usually are booked, my whole day. And I'm working on commissions all day long. And Chris is working the counter, whatever we're, she's basically the money. So she handles all of it. And I'm just doing everything and what we're supposed to be doing. You're meeting, little Jack or whatever and having them, what drawing you want, Star Wars drawing, you want one of my characters. That's fun. That kind of stuff's fun. But I miss that. I miss a lot of the camaraderie. I miss meeting some of the people I only get to see 2 or 3 times a year. That's kind of fun. So I mean, there's a lot of things to miss.
I miss my convention family, but at the same time, I'm glad to interact with a lot more people online than I could ever thought I did.
As I'm getting older, I like being in the comfort of my own home. I do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to say I like having it's a real privilege when you really think about it, being at home and being able, even I know that you work outside the house, but when you're at home, you've got certain things. I mean, I can grab a cup of coffee if I want to. I can put it on pause if I need to and run to the bathroom. I can whatever, but there's just a lot more control. I like that. Just in that regard. But
and speaking of coffee, your East Indian roast.
Yeah, Indian roasting. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, how did you guys get hooked up with each other?
So, Pete has been a friend of mine for, 12 years, 13 years. He owned a comic book store.
Okay.
So Pete and I, it was one of those things that's like, you met the person, you known them all your life. And I met Pete in Lansing. Chris and I moved there. We rented a house. And we ended up, Pete had the small comic book store. So we went over there and we just started talking. He had gaming and all that stuff. And we're just nerded out. And I did a logo for their business, and that was how it all worked out. And we've been friends ever since. So when they ended up leaving, because 2008 and all the mess, everything happened, and there was a lot of money lost. Michigan was really hit hard. So a lot of that changed, and it took him a while, but he ended up, he's always been a coffee roaster. So I knew that eventually he was always talking about opening up a shop, and we talked about doing it together and everything else. And then he had an opportunity to move. We moved up north first, but they moved another 2 hours north of us.
Oh, okay.
So he had an opportunity to move up to a place that they've had in the family for a long time. And so they ended up doing it. And he had an opportunity to buy into a roasting company when he got there. So fast forward 2 years, and he started bringing in all this different fair trade coffee, and he's been doing it, and it's been growing like crazy. The only problem is the cafe had to shut down because of COVID, and it just didn't reopen. So the coffee roasting's been just a blessing, because Christine's business, we ended up selling it at the market. Well, everything was going on with Ted Davies Artistry. I was looking for sponsors, and I'm like, well, okay, this is what we're doing. He knows how much I enjoy coffee. I'm a huge coffee fan. And he says, well, what if we work something out? And then he has other business partners. He has some financial people. And one of his partners called me and said, hey, what if we do a promo code, and you can, you guys work out a deal. And then what's been good is because, have you been seeing a lot of this NFT stuff where people are putting up their artwork, and then they're not necessarily getting money, they're getting things or whatever. There's that kind of a bartering thing that they're doing. There's a lot of different ways you can set it up, because sponsorships can be lighting, can be microphones, there's all kinds of things you can do. It can be free coffee, can be, 10% off when people buy product. There's all ways that you can do this. So if you have a startup company, if you got a company that's willing to work with you, work with them. If they're going to be paying you a couple $100 a month or whatever it is, or free coffee or whatever, you can work this out to where it's beneficial for both of you. They're getting advertisement, and you're getting something in return. Pete and I go way back. So there's things that, he's family. So it was awesome that they wanted to come in and do this for me, because it broadened my perspective of what I could do. And then we just picked up another sponsor, Cashman's Comics in Bay City, Michigan. So that one, we just started that one this week. It's actually the 1st of May. I'm kind of just running the promo now. I've got a couple of things I'm working on with that, but that's fun too. I mean, that's an economic thing. And, the biggest thing, I tell people not to worry about your subscriber count on YouTube. Don't worry about it, because 1,000 gets you monetized. Okay. That's great. But there's other ways to make money. I would rather have 200 subscribers that watch my stuff all the time than 10,000 that only 200 subscribers watch. You know what I mean? Because I've seen that. I've seen it happen. People grow super fast, and they don't have any income, and then nobody watches their stuff. And so I would always suggest look for people that always look for sponsorships, even if it's I would suggest you to do that too. But I think that there's a way that you can help small businesses with what you're doing, because they're not necessarily having a station themselves. They don't really want to do a YouTube channel. Use to your advantages. Delegate, like I've been doing with these other things too, bringing in Lisa to run the campaign, because I know that's her forte. Jeffrey Hayes doing the video, because Plasma Fire Graphics, that's what they do. So you just be smart about it, but and be fair. Tell them what you want. Make sure that if you're getting a sponsor, tell them, all right, listen, I think, okay, can we do a promo code? One good thing about it is my name's Ted, so I add stuff. Caffeinate Ted 2021 is a great promo code.
Yeah,
you got to have a hook. The marketing side of it, you have to have a hook, and that's something. And not every company is going to want to do that. So you have to, you got to be creative. But the biggest thing is work with your sponsors. It's not all that. It does not always have to be monetary. There's always profit and value in a lot of different things. So
exactly.
And I really think that bartering is a beautiful system. I do. So I think cash can be bad in some regards.
See, I was trying to start that up at one of my local conventions. Like I had a bunch of stuff that for my costuming stuff that I wasn't using, so I had like leftover leather, and so I just started going from booth to booth, all the leather people, all the leather craftsmen that were around, and like, can you use this for any of your projects? And one guy's like, yeah, I could. Like, and I'm like, what would you trade me for?
Right. Right. And that's the way it works. You could go anywhere with it, with that. You could do books, you could do artwork. There's a lot of different things. It depends on you as a business owner. I don't recommend it for everybody, because a lot of people have to make money to pay bills, and I get that. But I know where, I'm fair with everybody. I'll tell you, I get paid a lot of money for my artwork, and it's not necessarily the hours that it takes. It's my years, it's my value. It's the value, if that makes any sense. Is that arrogant? I don't mean it to be that arrogant. I don't mean that.
I don't think it's arrogant at all.
Okay. But I know that with sponsorships, though, it's a two-way street. Some of them, it is monetary, fine. But I think that there's ways that you can work it out to where you could benefit so much more. And I think that relationships are built like that on that. So, but yeah, that's how Pete and I got started with, and his wife and him do all the roasting. Pete does all the roasting, but they run the business, and they're, it's just fantastic. It's a great product. So.
I like this comment from Carl. They pay for the expertise.
Yeah, they do. That's right, Carl. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So your hats, are you a hat collector?
People have asked me, are you balding? I'm bald. I'm like, no, I got a full head of hair. You can testify, you can testify that you've seen me without my hat on. Yeah, fedoras for some reason, Brian's got the Fez, Brian K. Morris. I've always liked fedoras. It's really weird. I have like my old Welsh. My dad was Welsh, so I have my old cap. From what do you call it? I can't think of it. A plaid cap that I wear with my wool sweater if I'm out on the water or whatever, or ball cap or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that the COVID curl thing's going, I haven't gotten a haircut in like a year, so it's like and I can't wait for the summer because it's going to be like, with my my Jewish family way back. I'm not Jewish anymore, but it's going to just be, I'm going to have this fro, I know in the summer.
Dude, I feel your pain. Like,
it's curly, but hey,
grade 7, I cut my hair short and the Jew fro came out. So
it's cool. I embrace it. It's like, whatever. I have, I've only got 2 fedoras actually. I've got, I'm sure I'll be getting a few more this year, but, yeah, everybody asks me, are you balding? I don't know if I'm thinning or not, but I don't know. I've had, and I really, Christine's been the one to thank for this, because people tell me I don't look 50. A lot of people say that. I'm like, well, that's kind, and I'm like, well, it's makeup. I jokingly say it's makeup and lighting. But a lot of it has to do with diet. I mean, I know I smoke cigars. I know I have good scotch and all that stuff, but it's really diet. And I think the coffee doesn't hurt.
I can't say that. Well, maybe it is the coffee that keeps me young, but I can't say it's the diet that's keeping me young.
Well, and it's, I'm shocked at the gluten thing. Really, I lost so much weight. I couldn't believe how much in my face. I mean, if you look back at pictures on my Facebook page, you're like, damn, he was a little chunky monkey, and that's fine. As long as you're healthy, I don't care if whatever, as long as you're healthy and you're happy. Yeah, but it's, people have asked me, do you dye your hair? I'm like, no. Do you dye your beard? No. And once they see me in person too, they see the white, they see the scars from the car accidents or whatever as a kid and all that stuff. So, I mean, but that's, that's the beauty, I guess, of digital cameras and internet. But yeah, so.
I have one friend who makes a comment every now and then. She goes, how is it that you're almost 40 and you have no wrinkles? I'm like, I have wrinkles. She goes, I don't see any. I'm like, just wait.
That's cool. The other thing too is it sounds funny, but it's moisturizer, big time. Coconut oil. Oh my God. Chris makes this stuff that's and beard balm, all this stuff is all, you've got to, you got to moisturize. That's all I got to say. I've got guys that are, I know that I've got guys that are I was in college and high school with that look 10 years older than me, and they have not, and they've got it made. I mean, they've done so well in their lives, but for whatever reason, a lot of it's genetics too, I think. But, I know there's a lot of people that look younger than me too at 50. So, but yeah, a lot of it I think is due to Christine. I know that, I know it is from diet, but I also know from the different things that she makes as far as moisturizer and, you can call it makeup, whatever, but it works. It works.
I think it also helps living on the beach too.
It does. It does help. And then I was telling people yesterday on my show, in the summer, I'm outside all the time. So I get really dark. So when you guys are going to be like, what's going on? Who's that guy? And watch, like probably 6 weeks, you're going to be like, holy shit. Sorry. Don't cuss.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, it's yeah. I'll just say, hey, man, what's up? Yeah, it'll be You'll see. I don't know if I might have to kick it depends on how hot it gets in here. I might have to take the fedora off, but we'll have to see. We'll see in the summer.
I'm the only brunette in a family of redheads, so hence the fake hair coloring.
All good.
But no, my sisters get really mad at me because I'm the only one who tans, and it's like, you know,
do it. Well, you got olive skin though too. You're like me in that regard. You probably get tan. You get that sheen.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, I get that olive. It's my mother's side was French, and I think that.
Okay.
And they yeah.
Well, I'm just going by what my mom said. My dad's part Jewish, so
yep. Right.
So I got that.
That's all good
from him.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to a warm summer. So
I'm looking forward to spring.
Yeah. Right. I understand
we're kind of getting it.
Man, you can have it. You can have it.
You know, if it continues to be like today, where the sun's actually shining and it's actually warm, and I can open up the windows, I'm glad.
Huge difference. Huge.
Huge difference on your mood.
Yeah. One thing here, it's when we first got here, even before we saw the house, we opened up the car doors and we heard the waves crashing on the beach, and I'm like, wow, that was it, But the weird thing is, it's beautiful in the summer because you got the windows open on it. The weird thing is in the winter when you're shoveling snow and you can hear the waves crashing on the beach. That's really bizarre. It's a surreal. It's so weird. It's really weird because you're thinking, oh, this is it should be warm. It should be nice and warm now. Your mind's saying, and here you are shoveling 6 to 8 inches of snow, while the waves are crashing on the beach. It's crazy.
Now, do you go fishing at all?
I don't.
No?
My family, neighbors all do. They've got one of the guys down the street here, Butch, ended up catching walleye. There's a bunch of walleye running right now. Big too, man, they're huge. But Chris's brother comes up, and Chris's parents, when they found out we were moving up here, they moved up here about 4 miles away. So it's kind of a compliment. They didn't want to be close to her, not me, I'm sure, but they wanted to be closer. So so they've got a bigger house. So we ended up downsizing big time. It's a 900 square feet. It's real easy to take care of. As a designer, in architecture, the bigger the house, the bigger the problems. That's the way it always was for designing. When we had an opportunity to come up here, I just want a small home. I'm like, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
But they ended up getting a little bit bigger home, so they've got people that can stay there. They got 2 or 3 extra bedrooms. They can stay other. So her brother comes up and he fishes quite a bit. We had being on a Great Lake, it's different than being an inland lake because there's so much different. You have small craft warnings. You got all things you have to be aware of. But the fishing is just incredible here. It's incredible.
I have always loved fishing, and one of my finer memories of one of my foster homes is going fishing out in Kenora. And even though it wasn't a big fish, I was just proud that I actually caught.
Oh yeah, right. I remember the first fish I caught. I caught a catfish with a hot dog and a safety pin, and it broke off in the mustache, the spike.
Yeah,
went into my foot. And I'll tell you, those catfish, that stinger hurt, man. Boy, did that hurt. I'll never, ever forget that day, though. That was such a cool thing to catch that catfish. It was awesome. Hot dog and a safety pin. It's crazy. But, yeah, I'll never forget it. Fun stuff.
Hey, I will always say that one of my favorite games is the fishing game in Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do. I remember that. I do remember that. My niece played that, and yes, I remember that. Yeah, wow. That brings back memories. Wow.
How many hours did you spend playing just that one part in Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask?
I didn't, but I'm sure that you know what? I think that my nieces are all, they're more like sisters to me because of the age difference in my family. My
Yeah.
brothers are all much older than me, so they're kind of like my sisters. But so whenever they would play these things, it would be, I'm just watching it like, wow, it's just amazing. And I'm telling them about Atari and telling them about ColecoVision, all these things in television, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, okay. 16-bit was where we had it, and this is what you guys
doesn't
have.
that kill you when you're like, hey, I want to talk to you about this, and it's like you get blazed.
But then the Star Wars universe started getting some major help, and the kids, I ended up playing with my kids, and I were like on PCs playing, high def squadron games. That was full tilt. That was awesome. So that it's cool. I'll take
it's come
it.
Full circle for your family.
Yeah, right. And that's one thing I don't do now, because I would be on them all the time. I cut it out because, you know what I mean? I would be on them all the time. I would be completely just absorbed. I caught myself watching on YouTube the squadron videos of what they're doing now. Oh my God. It's incredible. It's like a movie. It's just unbelievable. It's amazing. So
me and Joe we follow a couple of game streamers, and we're just like just watching what they do on a daily basis is amazing.
Detail work is just incredible. God, it's just incredible.
I love survival horror games, and there's times where I have to literally pull myself away from certain games because I get so
you're right. And it's
like
awesome,
television.
but it's awesome. Have you seen that new movie with Ryan Reynolds about the movie? He's going to be in the game. Okay, that looks so good. It looks so crazy funny. I can't wait to see that. I forgot the name of it now, but it looks really good.
And I know Donna plays WoW, and she's like, why don't you
Isn't
play?
That
no,
she's so freaking badass. I love Donna. She's so badass. She's so cool. Carly got a good one there. Yeah. I can just see her smoking on a Tayback or a Gurkha, just just killing it, and it's just awesome. That's just awesome.
I got into playing The Division a couple of years ago with my husband, and he's like, I play that game without them just so that I can catch up on how much they play.
Yeah.
And trying to play with other people, and I'm squaring up a storm, and I was like, this is not good.
you think it's better? It's got to give you live so far north. We're already north, and I already mentally, just because Detroit's 3 hours away and you guys are so far north, do you think it's good that you've had that outlet to do that of, just to keep your mind focused, on other things and the weather and the, all that.
I have certain people that I hang out with, but it seems like my life is mostly online. Because I don't know, I think I get along better with people online than I do in real life.
Sure. I understand that.
What does that say about me?
No, it's a tool. This is just a tool. That's all. It's like a phone. People are on phones for years. I remember my sister would be on a phone on the hallway talking, and whatever. It's the same deal. It's just we can see each other now. So
I don't know. I just, with certain groups here, I haven't really met, besides meeting you, Carl, and everybody that we hang out with on a daily basis here. But my real life, I really don't have like a close net group of friends that I go see.
Right.
I see them at conventions, but I
don't know. I think solitude is a good thing. I've learned a lot. I'm very select on who I have in my circle. I really am.
Yeah.
And now I am. Because there's people that are, friends, and then there's acquaintances, and then there's people that are just trying to, basically they smile to your face and then they stab you in the back, So I'm very cautious about, but during COVID though, I haven't even seen my friends. Everything's been online. It's like I might see them for a minute. I've got a mask on. Hey, what's up? picking up coffee, whatever, and that's it. We don't even usually, we're hugging each other, whatever, talking and having a drink, but it's not like that right now. It will. I'm hoping soon it will be once all these shots get done, and that was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough last week. That was really tough. Have you guys gotten anything up there?
We're not eligible yet.
Oh.
And it's like sitting in the waiting room of death, waiting for that number to get called.
Well, we just got approved. So we just did. So that was about 2 weeks ago. But yeah. So I'm with you. I get it.
Yeah, it's right now. It's for certain shots they have a certain amount, a certain age limit.
Yeah.
And right now, I think for AstraZeneca, it's like 40 and older, and then for Moderna, I think it's like 50 and older now.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and we just ended up getting the Pfizer. Yeah, we just ended up getting the Pfizer one, and that just, man. I mean, I'm glad I got it, but man, that kicked my ass. Oh my God, I was hurting. Friday night, I got it Thursday, and I was just really hurting. And I think it's a lot to do with genetics too. My son had the same type of effect on him. But yeah, it's you just have to be. We got to be part of this try. You got to do it. I don't know what we got to get through this. So
yeah. And I know, like I keep telling my mom, I'm like, go get vaccinated, please. And I have to catch up with her about that. But she's like, yeah, I've been wanting to. I'm like, don't let my sister know that you're getting vaccinated.
I gotcha. And that's, I think it is a personal choice. Absolutely. I know that they were talking on. I was listening to Russell. How are we doing on time? I don't want to babble too much.
10 after 8. We'll chat. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
I was listening to Russell Brand on his. I just, for whatever reason, I was on YouTube, and he started talking about the vaccination passport. So, like, you have to have your papers in order to go to Canada. When we go overseas, we had to get vaccinated when I was a kid. Anyway, we had booster shots before we went to Wales, where my dad was from. We had to London, whatever. We had to have them. So I told Chris, I'm like, when we go to Africa or wherever we're going to go in the future, this is the type of woman she is. We're going to take 2 weeks and we're going to help orphaned elephants at one of these rescues there. Oh. So we're going to stay in a hut for 2 weeks in hot Africa, but we're going to have to get inoculated to do it. And that's fine. Whatever. Not a problem. But that's, these are things that we're going to have to do. But they're talking that you're not going to be able to be employed. They're talking about all these other things that you're going to have to. It's like the kids going to school. We all had to have shots before we went to school. It's the same idea. I don't know. I really don't know what else we can do, though. So I don't want to turn it into. I didn't mean to.
Oh no!
But I was talking to the producer in California. I was telling you about earlier, and they got their shots, and everything's different there than it is in Michigan. But they're getting the shots. They have the stadium to get a shot. I went to Rite Aid. You know what I mean? It's like you got all these yin and yang ways of doing it. But yeah, we're all in this together. So one way or the other.
But that's a great experience to be able to do that. I'm proud to hear of you going to Africa. And
yeah, it's Chris. I mean, I'm thinking like, the Viking cruise or something, enjoying myself on a Viking cruise or something like that. She said, no, we got to go do this because we got to go help these. Okay. So we'll go do it. And that's cool. And if that's what she wants to do, then that's what we do. I mean, that's the thing, and then we'll go to Viking cruise some other time, I guess. So, but yeah, no problem. But yeah, I think there's a lot of, I didn't want to get another shot. I hate needles, hate them. But you know what? It's if it's what we got to do. It's what we got to do. Just how do we do it? How do we do it? So it's just, I'm tired of being. I think everybody's exhausted from it.
Yeah. So. I mean, like, we're up here, like, I know they were talking about allowing people in retail and all that to get their vaccines. And my husband's a bus driver, and why he hasn't been vaccinated yet is beyond me, because that should be something.
I agree with you 100%.
First and foremost.
Yep. And I told that's we've had conversations like this too. I think that there's I know that how expensive this would be, but I think that everybody that's in the front lines worldwide, they should have hazard pay. There shouldn't be any question about it. If you are with in the public sector, whatever, vaccinated and hazard pay, there's no that I agree with you. I think that is you guys are putting yourselves in harm's way for profit, for somebody's profit, and there's got to be So my heart goes out to everybody that's having to deal with that, just mentally having to deal with it. So it's tough, but
what bus drivers deal with on a daily basis.
I heard about the we were just talking about this here. There was we won't say any names, but there was a occupational therapist that was working on a hands of a bus driver, and apparently the guy that was the guy had his finger chewed off by a guy that just got released from prison and attacked him in the bus. He was a bus driver, and the guy got attacked. So bit off his finger, bit his back. The guy, and these are, the human bites are terrible anyway. But they were talking about that. I'm like, why isn't that guy? he was vaccinated, thank God, but not that helped. I mean, it couldn't save his finger, but it's like, God, what are the chances of that? Of course, he should have gotten hazard pay during that too. I'm assuming.
But unfortunately, we live in a society where government doesn't think that bus service is essential, and bus drivers deserve it.
Absolutely, it should be. Absolutely, it should be. You guys are, especially in a northern climate. I mean,
a lot of people
freeze
bus drivers as a menial job, and
people freeze to death if they're not on the bus, in your environment, right? They could freeze to death unless are the bus stops heated? No, they're not heated, are they?
Some of them are, but right now we have homeless people living in them.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I mean
they have nowhere to go because the shelters are all full.
God, isn't that something? Wow, we're going down a rabbit hole. You're totally going down a rabbit hole. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off the radar, off the reservation.
I love how when it comes to voting, there was one woman that's like, "Oh, you should come work for me." I'm like, "Nope, no, you don't want me to work for you."
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we I'm glad that you know that now about yourself, because I've had conversations. I've been in interviews with some people that I'm like, I don't really think I can work for you.
I thought about getting into the whole politic game, but I'm honest. I'm way too honest. I'm honest to a fault, and I don't think that's what people want for a politician.
No. Yeah. Well, and they don't want that as an employee.
Oh, and I also care about people.
Right. They want you to do the job and not, not question authority, and some do, but Anyway.
Yep. But so that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about your book.
Well, like I said, it's coming out. It'll be 7 o'clock Eastern Standard on April 25th. That's Sunday. We're going to launch it. So I don't know if you're going to be. I know Lisa's going to be there. I'm trying to get a few people.
I'm sure I can make it. I'm pretty sure I'm off work early enough so that I can be there.
Cool. Well, I know we have a list of people. It's more so I'm not expecting to fund it like 705, but I think that I want it to be something of a send off, because it's our first time doing it. And I know it's a good project. It's a good project. I'm excited about it.
I'm going to share your video.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I'm pretty sure this is it. Okay. Sorry, apparently I still don't know how to work this.
That's okay. Listen, it's not the easiest. Sometimes it's not the easiest on it. I've had issues with it too. I've had some issues with it too on StreamYard, so it's not a problem. And everybody can check it out if you can't get it on there. If you just go to Kickstarter, it should be under Ted Davies Artistry.
Yeah.
Grim 101 preview. But it's hard when sometimes you can't do it on there. I've had a couple issues on there too.
All right.
Have you ever done any Kickstarters? Might be playing for you.
Oh, it's not working on your end? Oh,
no, it's okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Again, I'm really bad at this, apparently.
No problem.
So
and you're going to get better at it. We both are. Because I've done it too. I've done it too, to where I've thought I was playing. It played on my side, and then it went off. No problem.
Okay. Let's try this again, shall we?
Like I said, I've had a problem with it before too. So.
Here we go.
I was invisible until she saw me. No, really. I've been floating around this cemetery for years. I guess my origins, or my beginnings, as it were, should be my start to this tale. Unfortunately, I recall only this place, and from where I come from, well, that's anyone's guess. This relic of a book is a cruel guide, Grim 101. What a terrible title for such a dreadful manual of despair. I cannot believe that I would have taken such a supernatural vocation. But a duty is a mistress in this solitude of eternal watching. I have been a mere observer, at best, for more than 150 years.
I think you're going to enjoy it.
I look forward to it. Like,
Thanks.
it doesn't look like it should be a comedy at all, but
it's dark.
I like it. I love
dark.
it.
It'll be, and it's going to be dry too. You're going to be like, oh, I can't believe you just did that. You know, that kind of stuff. It's quite remarkable. You know, it's kind of like, and I the only thing I could really break it down to is he's an older being that wants to be a stand-up comedian, but he doesn't know what that is. And it's a really very, you know, and I think that, you know, with all of our in life in general, whatever our calling is or whatever, it's our spouse or our better half that gets us to the point to be our best selves.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very much a story, not necessarily about a spouse, but it's about beings helping each other in a really, really weird, bizarre relationship. So it's fascinating. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think everybody, if you like a head trip, I think it'd be fun. I think you guys are gonna like it.
Excellent. I love stories like that where you come out thinking about more stuff, and I like it. I'm looking forward to this. And you said that there's going to be 3 stories? 4.
It's one story, but 4 books. The first book is, and you're going to notice too that throughout the story, we've got 2 different covers. We've got a hardback version as well, but the paperback has got Jim on the cover, and he's standing on. I think he showed that earlier on one of the gravestones. That is you're going to notice in the series, it's going to go. And the interiors are actually, they're not a lot of dark lines, right? So there's Jim, and that's actually, you'll see the ink lines around there. That eventually, that's the way the story will look. But it's a progressive, it's a progressive way on the inside because it's very ethereal. You'll see it once you get into the book. You'll understand why I'm doing it that way. And it's
sorry, it's a graphic novel, or is it actually?
And that's just it. It's kind of an experiment because it's not. It's an illustrated novel, I guess is probably the best way to put it. It's not quite graphic in that regard. It's illustrated throughout, so there's about 14. There's going to be about 20 illustrations throughout. It's only a 40 page. The first one's only 40 pages, but the way that it's set up like a memoir, as if Jim were writing his thoughts down, keeping track of his time.
Okay, yeah.
It's set up like that, and then the second book will be Gwen's view of actually how her experience is, and maybe her experiences with him, and how that it's gonna. And then the third one will be they're developing, and then the fourth will be very much how all this came about and why Jim's even there. And there's all different. So there's a lot of layers to it, but yeah. So, and there'll be as it goes, there's going to be more pages in the other books, and then there'll be a trade. We're actually going to do a trade. The idea is to do a trade back with all the books in it, but do that in a leather-bound hardback collection series.
Oh, that'd be neat. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I'm looking forward to all that.
Thank you.
And seeing it unfold. And
it's a good campaign. There's a lot of good rewards. Lisa's been awesome getting that all together, and we're really looking forward to getting it off the ground and getting everybody to look at it and be part of the journey. Because I think it's going to be a blast.
You got my promise to back you.
Awesome. So. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Means a lot. It does.
Not a problem. So yeah, guys, go check out Grim 101 by Ted Davies. Check out the Kickstarter. I'll share the link.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun putting together, but it's been, I've been writing it for about 2 to 3 years, and it's been,
I know that's
that's it though.
And then there's that one link there that,
that's cool. Yeah. And like I said, if you guys want to join us at 7 p.m. on Sunday, that's we'll have it on StreamYard. So on Ted Davies Artistry. So you can check all that out. Yeah. I'd love to see you guys be part of it. Be a lot of fun. Yeah, I was really excited to see how many people actually followed it. We had almost 60 people the first day, so that was just dynamic. That was such a great, I consider that a send off anyway. That was very kind of people take the time and follow it before it even previewed. So very cool.
I can't wait to see where your stories go from here. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see where your art goes from here. I know you like to do tiki art,
Oh yeah.
It's taking everything in my power not to keep throwing you money and be like, do
I appreciate
art.
It. Well, and that's one thing too. I know that there's once you start drawing something and really just have fun doing it, I just love it. I get so creative with, and people love it. I've had more people buy my tiki art than my skullcap series art. I've been so blessed when it comes to that. People are they're so kind. So, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And me being a part of the car hobby, I'm seeing the car in the background there too.
That's my 67 Caddy. I do a lot of, my dad was a car designer, so I've always done a lot of different car art. Car culture is big for me. Big for me. I have an old motorcycle, and that's kind of our, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable.
Joe and I drive around a 66 Dodge Coronet station wagon.
Yeah, so Coronet, awesome. Is that it's a 4-door?
Yeah.
Sweet. And what?
It's so much fun driving it around.
Oh, they're the best. Yeah. Well, and what's nice about that car too is that the parts, you can get parts for that. I mean, a lot of these cars you can't, do that, and that's great. They have to be serviceable and drivable. You have to be able to drive them.
Oh
right?
yeah.
I'd rather have a rat rod that was completely rusted to the bones and it's clear coated and just call it. You know what I mean? And just make it look, make it suitable to drive. But yeah,
Joe inherited it through his grandfather, so
awesome.
They've had it since brand new.
Awesome.
Pretty much. So
that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah,
it survived a few crashes and dings, but we've kept it running.
That's cool. That's cool. What year is that one?
66.
Oh, sweet. I know that Chris wants to get. We were talking about getting an older truck. I want to get something like in this probably 63 or earlier. But yeah, I would love to have like an old Continental suicide doors, like a 65. Oh, that would be it. That would be a pinnacle. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't really know if I want to have the headache of having it,
Yeah.
and having to repair it and all that. So I don't know. It's romantic, but
we have an old Monaco as well, and it used to be an RCMP car, and I'm like, no, we need to work on it, and he's humming and hawing about building. Restoring it. I'm like,
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I totally get that. It's a lot of work, though. Absolutely, it's a lot of work. But it's a passion.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about motorcycles because they're smaller. They can be more expensive, but it's less to maintain, less insurance. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy old motorcycles too. I like a lot of old stuff, as you know. So
yeah.
But
well, we are definitely kindred spirits when it comes to that stuff. So I enjoy talking, and I mean, like even with the old watches, and I look forward to seeing what more stuff you bring out of your collection with that.
We'll do. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I'm glad that you see the value in it. Thank you.
I'm a collector of sorts as well. So
yeah. Well, and you do pin up and stuff too, right? So you've got that whole car culture ideal thing. That's cool. I think that's why we kind of vibe anyway. I'm with you on that. And I dig it. That's cool. That's an art form in itself. I mean, cosplay is one thing, but pinups, that's a whole nother layer with hair, and I mean, it's crazy.
It's a whole different thing for me to challenge myself with. And I mean, even though I'm still a little awkward when it comes to doing hair and makeup, the tutorials on YouTube help. Big
time. Yeah. That's a huge industry. I mean, there's so many people that have fun with it. It's so cool to watch that. It gives me a whole new respect of what our mothers, our grandmothers went through.
Yes. Trying to make themselves look pretty.
Yeah. I'm like, God, what was acceptable? What was socially acceptable? I was like, God, man, holy cow.
Like, even though, like, there are times where I'll say that I was definitely born in the wrong era because I love the music from that, from the 50s and 60s, as opposed to now.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah, Christine and I'll throw on Benny Goodman or Glenn Miller on Pandora, and we listen to that stuff all the time. It's a really weird thing. It's my parents always listened to that as I was growing up, and her grandparents always listened to it. So, but for whatever reason, it's very, comforting to us. And then I listen to a lot of rockabilly music too, but
same. And the TV shows from that era were,
me too.
were fantastic too.
Yeah. And we wanted that kind of vibe, for Drinking with the Davies. I mean, all of the stuff that I do is all kind of retro vintage ish, It's not perfect, but we wanted kind of a fusion,
Yeah.
Have fun with it. But that's kind of not to leave it to be.
I love your theme music, by the way.
Thanks. Which one? On Drinking with the Davies or
Drinking with the Davies and the TED Talks.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, the tidal wave music. I love any of that kind of coastal rockabilly. I just love that, that stuff. Surfer music. But yeah, I have fun with it.
Today at work, someone had added the Sleepwalkers tune to our playlist. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome.
That's one of my daughter's favorites. Yeah, that's one of my daughters. Yep. What was it? Johnny Santos, I think, and his brother did that. I forget their name, but yeah, it's such a great song. Such a great tune, but yeah.
And of course, I'm like the only one who knew what it was.
You're all, yeah, right. You're just that, or you're like just jamming, or just like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah, my daughter's like that too, and it's like, why did you curse me like this? I'm like, I'm sorry. You love that song, but
I thank my mom and my aunt for showing me things like I Love Lucy and the Munsters and stuff like that, because I've referenced all those shows, and even our pop culture references it from time to time.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for them to get me interested in all that, I probably would have no idea. Mm-hmm. Like Family Guy references, stuff like that all the time, and I love watching old episodes of The Twilight Zone, and it's like,
me too. That's one nice thing about Netflix. Netflix Twilight Zone, or it did. I don't know if it still does, but yeah, I love all that. Any of the older movies, any of the Bela Lugosi stuff,
yeah,
forget it. I'm there. I'm totally there. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I know that, and you don't know unless you. And there's a bunch of us like this. I mean, they're all over the world. There's so many people that are into this kind of stuff. But if you're not into it, you're not. But if you're into it, it's like you're so just obsessed. Yeah, Swamp Thing.
I enjoy being able to geek out with people about this. And last year, when when I took my break for the pandemic, and it was like the monster movies that kind of saved me.
Sure. That's one thing I like about Mike Mignola with Hellboy, because he's very much into that whole experience. He just absorbs everything when it comes to monsters. So in his stories, it's all like that. Everything is based around, the bizarre and I love it. I just absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's one thing I miss about TV growing up in Detroit, because we had like Channel 50 where you could watch Sir Gray's Ghastly or these other, The Ghoul or whatever. And you can watch these, they'd have their Saturday matinee, and it would be some crazy, really low budget horror film from the 50s or whatever. It was great. It was awesome. It was awesome. But I don't know if they have that in Canada. They probably do. They probably have somebody.
A lot of our older theaters have become like hotspots for local bands, which is great. But there really hasn't been too many places for like matinees, which is kind of sad. But I'm hoping that starts up again.
Yeah, I would love to have. I don't want to be stuck at like a theater as an owner, but I would love to see somebody come in and just do old vintage movies. We've got one in Detroit. As a kid, I grew up, there's a Redford Theater. It's right down the street from where I grew up. And they've got one of the original, there's only like 6 of them in the world, the original pipe organ that comes out of the ground. And the theater's all done by volunteers. And it's in the middle of not a great area, but that's where I first saw Sound of Music, and where I first saw The King and I, and all these other movies. My parents, they were older, so they didn't really know. And I used to think this is really just tacky. But then I look back on it, and I took my kids there, and Christine loves it. We live there. We live probably 3 or 4 hours from there now, but it was such a great experience. When David Bowie died, they had the Labyrinth, right? So they opened up, the Redford Theater opened up special viewing of the Labyrinth. So Christine loves the movie, and they played David Bowie music on the pipe organ. It was freaking awesome. It was so cool. It was so cool. But and the place was packed, but that type of environment where the old architecture is still valid, and people take the initiative to do something like that, and they volunteer their time, and it doesn't cost much. It's like $5 for the movie, and all the prices for the popcorn and that are real cheap, and the money goes into the volunteering, keeping the building open. It's fantastic. Again, it's like a rising tide for old architecture, you know?
Yeah, there was a place called the Metropolitan, and for decades it just stood empty, and it's starting to fall apart. And I kept passing by it, and it's like I'd touch the building, and it's like, one of these days you will be mine. Right. And then the Ken Inns bought it, and they made it into like an entertainment center.
Okay.
They do show movies, and they have like dinner. A place where you can eat dinner and watch the movie, which is great. But I'm just like, I want that place.
Right, I know, I get it. Well, you want somebody to do something with it, but it would still be something you'd want, right? Yeah, I've got I'm not going to release it right now, but I've got a story that I've been writing for quite a few years. Chris and I lived in Detroit for a while, and there's this beautiful castle in the middle of downtown Detroit. It's called the Gar Building.
Okay.
And it's a Grand Army of the Republic building, and it's a very Gothic revival, beautiful turrets and everything, and it's built on a triangle. So I said, well, I can't afford to buy it for you, but I wrote a story about it, and I wrote. It's a very interesting story about how, because I don't know if you saw the press release or not of me, but my family were one of the founding families in Detroit that came over with Cadillac.
Oh, okay.
My mother's family was way, way back, like 1705 is when they came over, and after Cadillac was getting, it was anyway. So my history in Detroit's pretty heavy. So, but I wanted something I could give to Christine, because this building meant everything to her. It's such a cool building. And then somebody bought it. They did something with it. It's beautiful. They renovated it. It's gorgeous.
Oh,
it looks
good.
And we were lucky enough to go in. I told them about the story, what we're doing, and they actually took us into the basement and showed us all the different areas where they have all these tunnels and stuff. And actually in the original, I didn't have any idea that they had all these tunnels in Detroit, but in the story I had written about tunnels. Really weird. Anyway, so that'll be a book in a couple years, but it should be pretty cool.
Excellent.
Anyway, but I don't want to bore you. I just,
I guess we'll end here so that you can get back to your life. And but yeah, make sure you guys follow Ted Davies on all his social media. Where can we find you on social media?
Anywhere Ted Davies Artistry. Facebook. You can go to Instagram. Instagram has a lot of my artwork. If you go to teddaviesartistry.com, you can pick up all my books there. Merchandise as well. And you can go to YouTube and go to Ted Davies Artistry. And then, of course, Kickstarter, Ted Davies Artistry. Grim 101 is going to be launching Sunday, April 25th. And I would love for you guys to check it out. If you can't invest in it, that's cool too. But if you can share it, that would be awesome. I would appreciate it greatly. And I'd love to see you part of the journey. So, yeah, I appreciate you taking some time, Willow. And
not a problem. I'm happy to do this for you. Thanks, Carl. I appreciate it.
He's a good guy.
Thanks for all your comments, bud. You and your wife.
Yep. Carl and Donna, they are the best.
So yeah, you can find me with the Hanging with Web TV group. You can find my page on Facebook, Scholar Productions. I'm all over social media myself. I'm the social media socialite. So yeah. So here, I'll play this clip for you.
I'm GW Amateur.
I'm Dina Marie. I'm Sage Ia.
I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
Hey, I'm David Thompson.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey there, this is Dave Adams.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Rose.
Jerome Conner here.
Hey guys, it's Josh Bauer.
It's Willow Schuyler.
I'm Cosplay Michael.
Abba.
It's your boy Country.
I'm Ryan Permison.
And I'd like to ask you guys, please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to HWWS
Web TV.
Great bunch of people.
And don't forget to smash the bell.
Ring that bell.
Smash that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell to be notified.
Hit the bell to get notified of new shows
and videos.
You're going to want to do that, so do that soon.
So we can cross that 20,000 mark.
And get us to 100,000 subscribers.
To 1 million, and 10 million, and 100 million.
On HWWS.
Web TV.
You really like it. I guarantee it.
Thank you.
That's good. When I first saw that, I'm like, God, how'd they get everybody to do that? That's great. That's really good.
We definitely made sure that we try to get as many of us as possible. Our group is growing just as much as
it's a great network. Yeah, great network. I mean, and it's variety too. There's tons of stuff on there. It's great.
You guys are growing as well, and I look forward to seeing what you guys produce in the future. I'm a huge fan again.
Thank you. Well, we're huge fans of you too, Will. You know that. So.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
See you later, guys.